Hello, welcome to Nonprofits for the Future, the roadmap to new funding sources. I'm Drew Heckman, and you're in Module 4. In this section, I will discuss how to set goals the right way and set you up for long-term success. Let's go over some definitions. A goal is the object of a person's ambition or effort, an aim or desired result. Everyone's pretty familiar with goal. Metric, most people are probably familiar with as well, but a system or standard of measurement. I'm less interested in the denotative definitions of goals and metrics and what you can do with the connotation of what you'd mean with a goal or metric. For example, we're going to talk about SMART goals today. SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely, or time-based. And this is based on Peter Drucker's management by objectives concept. Remember to look before you leap. Don't fall into the trap of starting without the end in mind, particularly with goal setting. Explicitly state your goals, your desired outcomes, and your metrics, or your system or standard of measurement. Set goals with a purpose, because simply having goals isn't good enough. And then how do you know if your goals have purpose? Well, that's what we're going to use SMART goals for. So let's get into them. The first one in SMART is specific. Specific are sensible, simple, and significant. So think about these when you're trying to generate your goals. They should be clear and focused. And you can use the 5 W's to ask, what do I want to accomplish? Why is this goal important? Who is involved? Where is my goal going to be located? And which resources or limits are involved? And by using these 5 whys, you will ensure that your goal will be specific. It should also be measurable. You should have a meaningful or motivated measurement, and you should be able to track your goals in order to keep moving forward. To create a measurable goal, ask how much or how many, and how will I know when it's accomplished? Have something in place that you can point to say, now we're done. So far our goal needs to be specific and it needs to be measurable. It also needs to be achievable. You might also hear this as agreed or attainable. So these can definitely be stretch goals, meaning something that's really hard to accomplish, complex, or far-reaching, but also make them pragmatic as well. By looking at achievable goals, this will help you identify overlooked opportunities you might have had in the past or any resources that you might need or have in order to help you get there. Remember to keep it pragmatic or reasonable. Set goals that are within your power. And in order to do this, to set an achievable goal, ask, how can I accomplish this goal? And how realistic is the goal? So we have our S, our M, our A, moving on to relevant. Relevant goals need to be reasonable, realistic, and results-based. So ensure that the goal matters to you and to your organization. Don't set up a goal that has nothing to do with moving towards your mission, because that's the ultimate. In order to do that, ask, does this seem worthwhile? If we accomplish this goal, will it help move our mission forward? Is this the right time for it? Maybe it's a great goal, but you don't have the resources. It's not reasonable or realistic because of that, either because of internal or external limitations or barriers that you might have discovered from the SWOT worksheet that we did. And so maybe it's not the right time. Also take a look at whether or not it matches the efforts that you're putting forward or the needs that you have. And finally, are you the right team to reach this goal? Maybe you set a goal, but in order to get there, you need another team member, or there's someone else that's more equipped to set it. Maybe you set up a partnership, which is something that we will discuss in another section of strategic partnerships. And finally, the goal needs to be timely, or you might have heard this as time-bound. These are time-based or time-bound or timely. Create a target date or establish milestones and benchmarks for success, and then ask, when is this going to be accomplished? And what can we accomplish 1 year from now, or maybe 6 months from now, 4 months from now, 4 weeks from now, or today? It's very important to establish a time-bound basis for your goal, or else it'll just sit there and you'll never get it done. But if you set a deadline and decide if it is reasonable, realistic, or results-based, if it is achievable, if you are met how you're measuring success, and if it's specific, well, now you've got a really nice goal for yourself. So you may have been familiar with SMART goals, and if so, this was a nice refresher for you. But we will take it one step further here and take a quick look at SMARTer goals. SMARTer goals adds the E and the R and includes evaluated and revised goals. This forces you to take a look back on what you've accomplished and make any changes that are necessary. So if you've evaluated your goals, you've taken a look at whether or not your goals and what you've done so far were both efficient and effective. The reason we do this is because your goals are not set in stone. One of the limitations of SMART goals is that you can't always look extremely far into the future. But if you're constantly evaluating and revising your goals, then you are able to set long-term goals and rework them as you go. This requires a constant evaluation of your goals, and it's really essential in order to reach what you're trying to accomplish. As part of evaluation, you can ask, has anything changed that alters our goals? Again, either internal or external. And additionally, how have we progressed? Do you have a progress chart, or do you have something that you're measuring against to determine if you were successful? Finally, the R for SMARTer goals is revised. Take a look and review or reconsider your goals. So did you review your goals? If so, did you have to adapt to your environment? And are there any organizational changes that might affect you? Ask after evaluating, do we need to change our goals? Or similarly, do we need to increase or decrease our goals? If you accomplished your goal within a set amount of time, but you did it twice as fast, maybe you didn't set a goal that was hard enough. Maybe it was too easy. Research has shown that if you set a goal that is very specific and very difficult, then you're more likely to achieve your goal and you're more motivated to achieve it. So take a look and see if you need to increase or decrease the number of goals that you have or the complexity or reach of your goal. So let's do a quick example as is relevant to Module 4, which is focusing on marketing. Paid ads. So you're planning on trying out paid ads, but before you just jump in and start throwing money at Facebook ads, take a look and see what's your end game. What do you want to accomplish when this is all said and done? Do you want to drive email signups, purchases, website traffic, or maybe have donors if it's outside the scope of earned income? And then how will you measure success? Focusing on that M. Is it attainable or realistic, or are you trying to get 1 million people to visit your website in 2 months? Well, maybe that's not so realistic. Is it relevant to our mission? If you're just having people go to your website, but you're not driving purchases in order to further your mission, maybe it's not so relevant. And then over what period of time are you taking a look? So with paid ads, then you can take a look at evaluation and revision. Focus on engagement rather than vanity metrics. So you'll want to know what you're aiming for and then measuring your success against your goal. So conversions, downloads, calls, and conversations are actually really good metrics. You want to get a lot of those, or people coming to your landing page as opposed to just getting likes on a Facebook post. People get thousands of likes on an Instagram post or a Facebook post and wonder why they're not converting to something more meaningful. Put yourself in their shoes. Think about how many times you've briefly read a Facebook post or saw a picture on Instagram and quickly liked it and then moved on with your day. You really want to grab their attention, keep them, and give them a call to action, something they can do to continue engaging with you, whether that's an email capture or a sign up, a phone call, or a purchase. Think about whether or not they visited your website. If so, how long were they there? Did they go to one page and then leave? For example, that's something that's also known as a bounce rate. So you can measure that. If people are just showing up and then leaving, something on your website wasn't keeping them there. So engagement metrics will beat your vanity metrics any day. So for example, again, on an Instagram, The number of comments carries more weight than the likes, but the number of people who were compelled enough to click through on the link to go to your website is even more powerful. And of those, how many converted once they got to your website and engaged by reaching out or purchasing your offering? So taking a look at these types of indicators can lead you to where you need to make improvements. Finally, let's touch on metrics that matter. In order to create metrics, for-profit institutions, they measure success mainly off of financial outcomes. But nonprofits are social profit organizations, and your main drivers are the well-being of people, places, and the planet. It's not always that financial bottom line. So how do you measure success of a social profit institution? Well, one of the things you can do are generate rubrics, either qualitative or quantitative, and address what matters most to you and what success is going to look like. And then you can incorporate the M and the E from the SMARTer goals. Measure and evaluate your purpose. Remember to think big, think end in mind, think root cause or 5 whys, rather than the symptoms. Okay, that was a lot. Quick review. A goal is the object of a person's ambition or effort, an aim or desired result. SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. Don't fall into the trap of starting without the end in mind and explicitly state your goals or outcomes. Remember to evaluate and revise. Set goals with a purpose, and simply having goals isn't good enough. Use SMART or SMARTer goals and goal-setting metrics in order to establish your purpose. That's all for SMART goals and gauging metrics. Don't forget to give feedback in the Facebook group and to attend office hours. This has been Drew Hackman with Nonprofits for the Future, the roadmap to new funding sources. See you soon.